everyone, Jem here and welcome to my creative space.
Hello everybody, welcome back, and today is day 23 of the dephemerember challenge, and today we're going to be looking at how I created this altered book page with Blackout poetry. So when I googled Blackout poetry, writers.com told me that Blackout poetry is a form of found poetry that creates new meaning by erasing words from a text. Cool. So I've started off today with a variety of different texts to have a look at. I've got an Enid Blyton book. I've got some pages from The Secret Diary of Adrian Mole. I've got some other random pages that came out of a altered book that I was doing, and also I've got the history of the English stage, and I love this book just for the writing that's in it. So I'm going to have a look through these to start with and see what comes to my attention. Okay, so I've had a scan through a lot of those books, and I've settled on this one, The History of the English Stage. And as I said before, I just love this because of the writing in it. But I've scanned through this and found some words that I've just outlined in pencil here, and I don't know whether you can see that. But the poem that I've come up with from this is many poignant things, the moment intimately equated, the world kept private. Exquisite charms, loved sincerely, a lover bound with tragedy. So that's the poem. Now I'm going to carefully take this page out of the book so that I can use it. And as I say, the other part of our prompt today is altered book page. And so by using this, we are, of course, creating an altered book page. Now, at its most basic form in Blackout poetry, what you can then do is just go through the page and black out all the words that you don't want, and you are just left with the ones that you do. But I'm going to do something slightly different with this one, and I'm going to put a picture. I'm going to incorporate a picture as well as that blacking out of things. So I'm going to take this out first. And I'm just going to very carefully slide my craft knife down the edge here. There we go. Oh, it's taken some other pages out as well because it cut the strings, that's right. So I'll straighten this edge up, and then I will think about a picture that I want to put onto here, and I'm going to think of something that is relevant to this little poem that I've created. All right, so I had to think about this poem, and it's quite poignant. It's about emotions, and as I say, the last line is a lover bound with tragedy. So I googled lovers silhouettes, I think it was, and I've cut this one out, and I'm just going to use this. I'm going to be honest, since I'm not actually terribly good at drawing, so I'm just going to use this and to give me an outline, and then I'm going to fill in some details myself. And my idea is that I have sort of flames coming up from the bottom here, but we'll see how we go. All right, so first things first, I'm going to outline these letters in a little bit more detail so that I don't lose them, and then I'm going to draw around this to give me my basic shape. Okay. Okay, I'm just having a look now. Unfortunately, some of those pencil marks have come through, even through the black, which I didn't think they would. But anyway, they're not going to... Oh, actually, they are disappearing a little bit. So I'll go along and try and take out what I can of those. Whilst I'm doing that, I'm thinking whether this background needs a sort of a... I don't know what colour. I'm wondering whether we could go a blue. I'm thinking I only have a very limited colour palette in my alcohol markers, but I'm wondering, that's a grey, that might work, or got a pale blue. No, I don't think that's right, but I might use that grey just to... I feel that particularly in here I need to do something with this bit so that the words stand out a little bit more. So I'll see how much of these pencil marks I can get rid of, and then I will think about using that grey, because I think that's quite a subtle, it's coming out a very subtle colour on here, and we'll see what we can do. Okay, so I think that was definitely worth doing with that grey colour. I think that's made it stand out quite a lot more. What I'm going to do now, I've just got a little pigment liner pen here, and I'm just going to go around again. I'm going to pop around where I took the pencil marks out, and I'm going to deliberately just keep inside the white that I've got there where I can, and just make those words stand out a little bit more for the poem. Now, what I have seen is people have copied the words that they've used and laid them out in poem form, you know, in verses and things. So I'm debating whether to do that. I'm going to have a look once this is when I think about how, sorry, I'm talking and working at the same time here. When I think about how to put this into my journal, which is the next step, and I rather like the fact that you can see the title of the book, The English Stage, across here, because I think that's quite quite congruent with the poem. So we've got many poignant things, the moment intimately equated, the world kept private, exquisite charms loved sincerely, a lover bound with tragedy. Actually, looking at that now, I don't know that that needs to be copied out in any way. I rather like that as it is. So the next stage is to think about, and I'm just going to be pedantic here because I can just see a little bit of white there that's going to bother me. And just there. And in there. Oh, this is not a time for perfectionism, is it really? But anyway, do I need to? No, I'm going to leave it. I'm happy with that. I rather like that. Okay, let's see where it's going to go into the book. Oh, immediately, look, I've opened that page and it kind of ties in with that. But I'm also aware I've got quite a lot of things in the front of my journal and not so much at the back. So let's see if we can have a look through the back. Stick that flap down and just pop it in there. You could leave that flap up and attach something else to it. Yeah, I rather like it in there. I think that this grey actually looks like a bluey grey, and it picks up the colour on this page here. So I think I'm going to put that in there. I want to do something down the sides here, and I'm not quite sure what at the moment. I'm thinking a black border, to be honest, and so I'm wondering, actually, do you know what? I'm going to put that in there, and I'm going to cut a black frame to go over the top. Right, so I'm going to glue that in first. No, I'm not. I'm going to glue it to the frame for cost. Indecision today. Right, let's take some measurements. So we want 5.5 that way. The ruler's not long enough. Okay, now I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to find a proper ruler and do this properly. Okay, so I measured and cut a frame using my Cricut machine, actually, just because it is the easiest and most accurate way to get what I want. So I'm going to attach that to there. I'm debating whether to do any kind of decoration on the frame, but you know what? Looking at it, I actually think I like that quite plain. It brings your focus of attention into the middle, and I don't want to decorate this and take attention away from the altered page and our blackout poetry. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue around this and stick that page on, and then I will just go and unblock my glue. Better. It's we're heading well into summer here now, and it's been, although we've had some rain this week, it has been really, really warm, and what I'm finding is everything is drying up really quickly, so I probably need to be a little bit more mindful about closing my glue. Oh, it's stuck. Closing my glue down a bit quicker when I'm using it. So I do want to keep that title of the English stage at the top, just because I think, although it's not highlighted as part of the poem, it just gives that hint of dramatic something. Right, I'm just going to damp my cloth down, just very carefully wipe that glue, knowing that I've used the alcohol markers. I can do that quite safely. Right, let's get this up before it sticks to my piece of paper. Now I can just see a tiny little bit, I don't know whether you can see that, I can see a tiny little bit of the book page along there, so I'm just going to get rid of that. Okay, let's move that because that's now all sticky. Right, I am going to put it in here. Now, I had the thought to stick that to there and back this piece, and it would make actually an extra page in my journal, and I could do that, and I am tempted to. However, as you can see, my journal is already quite full, and we still have another 1, 2, 3, 4, we still have another 5 prompts to go. So rather than adding any more bulk, I am actually just going to stick that to this page, and I'm going to trap that envelope bit in between just to tuck it in out of the way. So I think the easiest thing is going to be to add a bit more glue to here and slap it in. Yeah, see that glue, it's so warm today, that glue is drying already. And I'm actually just going to try and keep the glue on the back of the frame rather than across the middle of that book page. Let's put just a little bit on there, tuck that in. As I say, I'll often do something with those envelopes, and that one is quite nice in that it had a green lining, but I'm very conscious my journal is getting very fat already. There we go, that's gone in there, and I think, so this is on the other side, and I was just checking because I rounded the corners on my frame, and I would like to take these corners off here. So I was just checking that nothing is going to be impacted on this side before I do that. Sorry if I'm in the way of the camera there. Trying not to be. Right. I'm just going to... I can just still see a little bit of the book page that it's stuck to, so I'm just going to... It's not going to impact on that other side. I'm just going to very carefully go along the edge. There we go. Alright, so there's today's prompt done and dusted. We have an altered book page with Blackout poetry. So the page that we did our poetry on itself has become altered, and we have our Blackout poetry there in the white. I rather quite like this, you know. We did a bit of Blackout poetry at school in English literature, but I haven't done anything with it in terms of an art form like this, and I really quite like that. So there we go, folks. I hope this has been useful. If you have enjoyed this, please do give me a thumbs up and subscribe. It does help other people to see these videos, and I'm getting towards a new target with subscribers, so if you could see your way clear to just hitting that subscribe button, you would make my Christmas. All right, until tomorrow, guys, that's all for me today. Ka kite anō.